a hill above the sea. Power in the voice of a supporter. But it all amounts to nothing. Together we don't sing. There's power when we're North Boise. Any day, go forever. Oh, town, scenery. Valley and mountain, chaparral to the sea. And the colors of our rainbow, sunset, orange, Tory, green. There's power when we're North Boise. SC loyal forever. Someday, North County. Desert to islands, get loud now, you and me. All our voices strong together as we cheer on our team. There is power when we're North Boise.
Welcome to the Loyal Locals podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Dyer. What a week. So much to get to with this incredible match on Saturday. We've got another one coming up. We are in the playoffs. We will be at home, and we're all very couldn't be happier to get another game at home with the San Diego Loyal. So to help us talk about this, I'm going to bring on producer John Cross. John, you were at the game. How are you?
I was finally at a game. I am recovered now. That took the game. Took a lot out of me. I've spent the last 2 days recovering, so I'd be in position to, I guess 3 days almost here, to be in position to help with the podcast. But yeah, Sunday and Monday were rough. But I was happy to be there and get to share in the experience again.
Now, we do have a guest today, locals extraordinaire. I don't think he has an official position. Ken Garton,
Howdy, y'all. Great to be back on the podcast.
thanks for coming on. You were also at the game.
I was indeed. Yeah, I was down on the pitch for that second half. I was trying to pass out my love letters to the players, trying to get some autographs. It was kind of chaotic, but it was an amazing time to be down there, and especially after a win.
Yeah. I wanted to just kind of talk about what an emotional match it was, and it turned out that it was positive emotions. I think it could have been a different way had the results been different, but what an incredible match, starting with the just even before the game with the march. We have more people in the parking lot than we've had in a long time. More people participating in the march. Just a packed section 109, coming off of a Sunday home match where actually last week was a Saturday one. I wasn't there, but the last match I went to was a Sunday afternoon match, and shame on everybody who wasn't there. But a lot of energy in the section, just from the first whistle. It was incredibly loud. That was my impression. It's always loud for me. What about y'all?
Oh, absolutely. No, just going back to the parking lot, though, just walking to the parking lot totally took me back to March 7th, 2020, and getting through those gates and seeing, people that I hadn't seen maybe since the first match, or, just kind of reminiscing about seeing Steve and Lydia and Bryce, who was a baby at the time. And now we have Leona. And it was just such an amazing kind of like full circle moment to be able to have that. And again, it was absolutely emotional. Like, I definitely teared up several times. I've still am kind of in this denial mode where it's just like at least beer can get me through 90 minutes and just screaming my head off for that long. And again, it was just such a great moment. Kind of felt very full circle.
Yeah, the parking lot, I have to say personally, I didn't come in the normal entrance. I came down the stairs and was a little shocked by the greeting I received. I don't know if you guys were there.
I believe it was a round of applause.
It was quite the thing. So I want to thank everybody for that.
We're happy to see you.
That was very touching. And frankly, I was just happy I made it down all those stairs. My legs were like jelly at the end, because that was more work than I've done in a long time. So it was good. I sat down for a little bit after that and recovered, but the parking lot was great. It was just, for me, it was, I know for everybody it was good to be back, and I've missed so much this season that to be back one more time was exciting and thrilling. It was great to see everyone, and as Andrew said, the energy was fantastic. And as we left the parking lot for the march, it was weird for me because I always film it. I'm always filming. I have my pass and I float around. I'm in the middle of the group, I'm in front of the group, I'm to the side. And it was one of the only times that I've marched with everyone, and I was at the very, very back and came up. And it was weird being on the pathway and not even up with everybody else. But the energy was still great. It was such a different experience for me this time around that I don't get to enjoy the same way. I usually get to, watch everybody else having fun rather than be in the middle of it. So it was special.
Yeah, I don't think the Oakland Roots fans that came down had as much fun as we did. I'm not sure. I wasn't really concerning myself with their game day experience. I did see at least one Roots jersey in the parking lot, so it's great to have. It's great whenever visiting fans come and hang out with everybody before the match, because I mean we all have like the same sickness, so it's we can at least relate to each other a little bit. But yeah, for me, who I do, obviously I play a drum and I play it for an entire game, and sometimes it can be frustrating putting out that much energy throughout a match and feel like it's not being matched by the people around me in the section, right? Because hey, I mean, yeah, it's a lot to wave flags, it's a lot to sing and chant through a match, and there are highs and lows. But not Saturday. It was like pedal to the metal, like from that first whistle, and even when the Oakland did get the first goal, and then somehow it got louder and it was noticeable. It was so noticeable when I actually rewatched the broadcast, and the commentators mentioned how the section seemed to get louder after Oakland scored. And of course, we get a goal soon after that.
No,
Yes.
we were definitely like on point. Nick was, running the show, and the drums were tighter than ever. And it just helped to have such a full section, and so many people knew all the words and they were just going at it. And that was like, it felt like we were very much a part of the team and kind of willing those goals to go in. And
all the drummers showed up. When all the drummers show up, it sounds really good. It's so awesome when everybody's there. And hey, I missed the last game. I'm not saying like I'm not part of the problem sometimes, but when everybody's there, it really sounds good. And whenever I watched parts of the broadcast again after getting home, because I want to hear how the drums sound. Like, how do we come through on TV? Are we together? Like, it did sound very tight and very. It just sounded like Oakland's drum kind of messes things up a little bit because they play when they're not supposed to. Like for our chance, they're a little offbeat, but it's fine. Other than that, it did sound really good. Now, the TFO. I before we get too much into the match, I gotta shout out everybody who worked on the TFO, who designed the TFO. I think that was another Travis. Was that a Travis creation?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah.
If you don't know, and if you're watching or listening to this, I don't see how you don't, but the TFO says "Bury us with the cup." And it's got a skeleton kind of holding that up, and they kept referencing it on the broadcast. Like the commentators, they brought in like everybody who's been on during Loyal's 4 years. They kind of had everybody who's done color, who kind of rotate through the booth throughout the match, and kind of talked about like the club, their time, with watching the club. And it was, it did have this tone of finality to it that maybe we didn't quite have in the stadium. I think we were very in the moment, but I don't know. That was my impression. I was a little sad and a little bit somber despite the scoreline, listening to the broadcast, because I mean, as fans, we experience the game one way, but people doing the broadcast experience a total different way, and they're also losing something.
I just, in case anybody didn't see it while you were talking, I had a chance to get the graphic queued up here. So for anybody who didn't see the TFO and Stadium, I know they're floating around all over the place on social media and stuff. I don't have an actual clip ready to go of the raising of the TFO, but this is what it looked like for those of you who didn't get a chance to see it at all. And to go back to what Andrew was saying, I was at the very top of the stadium when the TFO went up, and just the energy, not in 109, because normally if I'm around and even filming, I'm at the beginning of the game, a lot of time I'm in the middle of the section getting some close-up shots of people. But the energy behind me on the walkways in 108, I mean, it was high energy, much more so than most times, which I think is to be expected, right? It's, it was potentially our very last game we could have there. So it was good to see all the excitement. And it was super nice on my end to be able to enjoy a full game without any media responsibilities.
So I want to ask you, John, because obviously I'm always underneath the TFO. What kind of reaction do you get from the rest of the stadium when they get a look at the TFO? Like, do people acknowledge? Do they react to it?
Yeah, it's funny because the people on the furthest end of the stadium react the most, because I think they have the best vantage and view of it. You get some people standing up, you get some people clapping, you get lots of phones out. But you get people like in 108 are standing up on their tippy toes trying to look over the edge to actually see what it says, because you just have a terrible angle. And unless it's being shown on the screen, and I was a little disappointed when I went back and watched the television broadcast that it didn't make it. The TFO raising or anything didn't make it on the broadcast. And they were live on air when it was happening. I mean, there was the potential to show it. They chose not to show it.
I mean, it's the director's fault.
Why.
I mean, that's the director's responsibility to cut to the camera on the supporter section.
Yeah,
didn't happen.
I think it would have been nice for I went to see as part of the broadcast. We did get to see it in the second half when it was up in the stands, and they were showing people down in that side and on the field. But it was different. It was a different experience for me all around. I wasn't under the TFO because TFO was just a little bit shorter than the section, so I was all ready to grab it as in back row, and I went to grab it, and it wasn't coming up anymore. I was like, okay, but it was nice because I actually got to look around and see. So yeah, a lot of cameras, a lot of phones out taking video and pictures, and it was good. It was good reaction.
And most importantly, nobody shook the TFO.
Nobody was shaking the TFO. That was great.
No, we did have to hold it for an extraordinarily long time. I think we held it up throughout the player intros, right? That was kind of what we were doing.
We held it all the way up till the kickoff.
Yeah.
And then it came up. Yeah.
So, and another thing that happened, something I've been predicting for a very long time, that there is no Oakland Roots curse. We do not have to lose to this team every time we play them. Just the odds said, we're due for a win. And even though they snuck in a goal late, Loyal scored 3 goals in that first half. Was it 3? Did they get all 4 in the first half?
All 4 in the first half.
So,
but 3 in quick succession.
Yeah, you lose count. That's a high number in soccer in any way. But it was something like the way that I experienced, the way that I saw it, it was, they went down by 1 goal, and it seemed like the players were like, just no, not this isn't happening this week. And they reacted to that in a way that I don't think I've seen this team react to going down early. I don't know that they just really were like, okay, let's get out there and kill them in this first half. Let's not let this drag on. And the way they responded to giving up that first goal. And the quickness with which they responded was something I think it is very encouraging going into our next match.
Absolutely. It was great to see kind of Joe Corona just kind of will the goal in. Like, look, we're not going to let this happen again. And I'll be honest with you, like when that first goal went in, I just like, oh no, here we go again. And again, maybe it's being a San Diego Sports fan for so long, or maybe it's just the loyal that they just couldn't seem to get past the Roots. But something about that just like gave the section and the players more energy to like fight back.
Yeah, and Damas getting hot at the right time. Like we talked all season, like when's it going to happen? When's he going to get hot? And
well, you know what happened, John?
Wait till the end of the season.
All of a sudden, I noticed Nate Miller is playing Damas and Conway at the top. I can't remember. I'd heard somebody talking about this being a potential solution to what ails us. I don't remember who said that. Or who kept saying
I wonder
it.
who it could be.
Smart soccer expert, I'm sure.
But hey, you know what? And also just playing the guy, right? Like we saw all season him not getting starts, them trying to bring him on as a super sub at the end of matches. But I feel like, he's a guy who can go 90 minutes and, maybe he needs to be on the field to get into the flow of the game, whatever it is psychologically that happens with players like him, right? Like he's such a specific type of player, right? Like you really have to kind of create a game environment that nurtures his particular strengths. And he looks so confident asserting his strength on the field, even if he's not the one putting it in the net every time.
Well, I think across, I'll call it the top four, just because of how we end up going on offense. But between Bodley on the left, Thomas on the right, Perez, and then Evan Conway as well. I mean, those are our top goal scorers all across there in the team, and they're spread out relatively evenly. I mean, teams, if all these players stay, in good form and stay hot, that if you target Damas, Conway can get you. Or as we saw at the end of the game, you let Perez cut inside, he's going to kill you, right? Or Bodley float in on someone else's cross, up in the back post unmarked. So
I think he had two assists, right, for Bodley.
Yeah, he's had some phenomenal crosses that he's been able to put in, whether it's on the ground low behind the defense or in the air to people. He's the whole team is starting to click. And this is something I was saying a few weeks ago. I felt like we were just like those good clicks or passes away. Like we were so close, but we'd have a terrible first touch or, things would just be off. And when everything's clicking for us, this is what we can do. So I hope it continues. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out in our games moving forward.
Yeah, it's great to see like a complete game with like a good game. Like we saw a complete dominant performance. You mentioned Perez, that incredible left-footed shot, just a screamer right over the goalie's head. Up for goal of the week. I don't know if he got it, but he was up for goal of the week. Also, Koke Vegas up for save of the week in USL. I saw that today with his leaping tap over the bar. Just really encouraging signs from the team. Now we do have, I keep forgetting about this Vegas game, this little sandwich game between now and the playoff. I'm so excited for this home playoff game. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend. This weekend is away in Vegas. The boys have the home playoff in the bag. And what do we do in Vegas? Are we playing Xavi, or are we kind of taking it easy, or are we running out and trying to keep this this fire going? What's the strategy here?
I don't know. Before we get before we get too deep into this, I just want to point out, because we didn't get a chance to talk about this pre-show, but Jason Radcliffe is probably going to try to come on 9-ish to talk about Vegas a little bit in terms of away days logistics. So I just want to keep that in mind with our conversation as we're going through this. That he should be jumping on to help us out here in just a little bit for any last minute information people need if they're going out there. But we can certainly talk about the game.
Well, he ain't here yet,
before
so
that here. Yeah.
if he wanted, you know what? If he wanted to talk about whether Coach Miller should rest or play Damos this weekend, you know what?
He shouldn't have had kids. Really, that's what we're coming down to, right? You know what I mean? No, here's what I think we really want to see happen is we want to go for second place. We want to basically have an opportunity that we're going to have essentially 2 playoff games should we win the first one. I thought when they played in El Paso, it was really uninspired. It was basically kind of playing for
a missed opportunity,
and it would have been nice to have seen a little bit more fight. And I certainly hope that we see a little bit more of Saturday night in Vegas than we did on Wednesday night.
And I think
that El Paso match
was
a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that gosh, you know, I can be pulled either way. I don't know the right answer, right? Because you know, somebody who knows what can happen in a game that is in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, you would like to get that second seed and have the extra home playoff match potentially in the next round. But also you've kind of gotten to where you want to be with that home playoff game in the first round. So yeah, I don't know how much you rest players. I think it is an opportunity to give maybe some players that are a little banged up a little bit of rest, but definitely not all of them. I think you still the players that are hot. I think unless he's really in a bad place, I think Damas is a player that needs to be out there to keep his run of form going. I don't know about anybody else, but I think for him, just he's on such a streak. Like, you don't want to like mess with it. You don't want to do anything to like change the rhythm.
Right. I think that's the most important. You don't change the rhythm. I think you start with what's got you here over the last few games, and you keep that same lineup. You reassess at halftime, depending on what's happening, and you probably know the results of the San Antonio match, at least by that point, and maybe that helps you make some decisions. But I'll put this up here on the screen, as Duffy said, yeah, I think you push for second. You do whatever you can to put yourself in the best position to do that. And this league is crazy. I mean, we could easily, or not easily, things have to fall in our favor, but we've seen crazy results all season long. We've had teams like we really should have beaten El Paso. And it was a bit of almost like a rest game, a scrimmage, a bit of a lackluster performance, as Ken said. And those 2 points could do us wonders here at the moment. But frankly, I like this as well, because we've been in a position before where we had second place locked up last year. I believe that was when we had our last game at Sacramento and we rested a bunch of people and just got walloped 4-0. And maybe it was the year before, but we went into the playoffs with a stinging defeat, even though it was with a heavily rotated squad. But I think that affects your momentum as well. I'd rather be in a place where we're like, we need to win to make things happen. We can't just sit and rest comfortably in our position, and put a strong team forward, and you got to win the rest of the way. I mean, that's where we are right now.
Yeah, things are so hot and cold, especially with this team. Things are so hot and cold week to week. So I definitely agree. Coming off of this dominant win over Oakland, even though they got that goal late, you really want to keep things going. But yeah, it was a very emotional night at Torero, because it could have been the last match what does that mean when we're in the playoffs? And again, we have another potential last match. Are we emotional again? Like, how do you, because it really was an extraordinary environment Saturday, and I almost wish that was the playoff game, because I don't know how everybody musters that much energy and emotion again, unless we jump out to like a 4-goal lead in that playoff game.
I don't know. I think you do, because it's the playoffs. I think we see that all the time with a fan base in any sport. It just, the playoffs are a different beast. And you know how important, even if it's like, we don't play a best of a series. I mean, it's a one-off game. You have to win the game. But even in games in other sports that have a series to them, every game has a different intensity to it in any kind of playoffs. So I don't think it'll be difficult to keep the energy level up, at least, the momentum riding into a game. During a game, all kinds of things can happen, right? But that momentum riding into the game and the energy at the beginning, I think, will be high no matter how many home games we have. And we, if things fall our way, we potentially can finish in second in the West, but fourth overall as well in the overall standings. So it is conceivable we would need help, but we could have, with the right things, one more home match and one more home match and one final home match at Torero. So
Don't do this. Don't do that to me, John. Okay. You know what? Just like as the expert and the coach of the team, I tell the guys, one game at a time. You just got to go the opponent that's in front of you, and that's all you can worry about. But the idea that we could potentially have the championship match here, that's a very enticing, if unlikely, possibility. I got a question for both of y'all, because I might have a counterintuitive or a counter opinion here, but the supporter section going to field level for the second half, yes or no?
I liked it because it was a different experience, and I know we got to do it end of last year as well. But like, I kind of liked being able to be like eye level with all the, like, again, I've gotten to go down for the man of the match, but like having that many people there to kind of like high five and give love to the team was pretty unique and pretty neat. And like they even talked about it on the broadcast. They're like, oh, some of the locals have made it down onto the pitch, and I thought that there was going to be a moment where we were going to be pitch invaders, but I decided, nope, we still have one more match. We need to, so let's not get arrested. Let's not get kicked out of Torero for grandma's house.
yeah, I don't know that I would like it all the time. I find, it was nice that we were up. It made the second half experience a completely different beast, because for me, I don't think I really watched or saw much of that second half. If you're on the ground, it's hard to see over everyone unless you're in the front, and I'm tall. But even if you stand on the wall back up there, there's just so much activity going on in and around you in a different way. It's a little bit distracting, but distracting in a good way. Everybody was having a great time. It was a party.
It was a party behind the goal, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And because we were up. Now, if we weren't up, I don't know, that would be a very different situation. But because we were up and it was the last game, it was a huge party down there.
Yeah, for me, I noticed both on the pitch at the time and then rewatching the broadcast, not being able to see the match is one big one, I think. Also, the cohesiveness of the section suffers when we spread out like that. The chanting and the songs were not as together, and they were not as loud. There are certain chants sometimes where we turn the drums off and kind of do like an a cappella singing. I got on to Nick and I can't remember who else came, Tom Blick, when they were capoing and trying to get us to do it. I was like, no, it's not, because without the drums, you have people 50 feet, 60 feet apart. They're not in time with each other. So the chants start falling apart whenever you turn the drums off, which you can do it in 109 because we're so packed in there. People stay together, but behind the goal, it did not work. And it was a real, I was I was like, Nick, we gotta play. I was like, they're fucking up. I was like, they're messing up. We gotta play. They don't know. They're not staying on beat. So it was presented certain challenges. Jeremy says it sounded louder when we were in the stands. I agreed. It was louder in the stands, and also on TV on the broadcast, it looks better us being in the stands, in my opinion. Now, San Antonio FC, a team we're just talking about, their supporter section is behind the goal. They call it the pit. And I think that they kind of suffer for that. I don't think that and that's their every game experience. And I think it doesn't look good on TV. It doesn't sound great. And I don't know if the fan experience is as good because you can't see the match. Now, like Ken said, you do see things up close. Like, you think Ronaldo Damas is fast. I got a glimpse of him whenever he was coming in. And when you're down on the pitch, like, that dude is fast. Like, he looks twice as fast when you're down there. So there are definitely, I think, perks to it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's talks about doing that again, but it's something to think about.
I will say it was really cool to do the "We Are" at the same level as the players, and especially for the final one, regular season one, in the home version. That was pretty incredible.
And I would say when I watched the broadcast and seeing at least part of that, or seeing some of the other shots that people had as well on cell phones or the club's video and stuff they put out, there seemed to be a lot more people that, I don't know if people came and filled in the end over there, but there seemed to be still a lot of people in the stands as well as on the field doing the San Diego "We Are."
Yeah, I think people stuck around to do it. I feel like a lot of the fans from the sideline sections really wanted to stick around and do it with the team. It was, we were having a party behind the goal, and I think the rest of the stadium was having a party as well. It was a really, really high energy, really positive environment. And I mean, maybe it's just because we all know that it's going to end, but my gosh, like, how sad that it's going to end. It really stings a little bit when you look around, especially at this match and that stadium on Saturday, and you look at the pictures on socials, and you look at the videos on Instagram. Alejandro Guido wrote a long post. I think he shared it on Twitter. He shared it on Instagram, trying to put these emotions into words and what it meant. And like, I think the game day environment that the fans in Torero, not just 109, but all the fans gave the team on Saturday, I feel like it really, really affected these players.
And then at the end, after the San Diego "We Are," and I selfishly want to ask a couple of questions, we had an in-stadium video. So I was wondering, because where I was standing, it was hard to hear what was going on in the video, but I was just curious, could you guys hear it? Because this is one of the few videos, a couple of things. I want to back up for a second. First, I want to thank everybody who helped send in some kind of contribution for that video that we put together. Second, I saw a couple of comments on Discord, and I was too tired to respond to anything over the last couple of days, asking about more people being involved. And I would absolutely love to have more people involved, but we can only work with the videos that we receive. And of the videos I received, everybody made it in there somewhere. But sometimes with editing decisions, you have to make, in terms of time limits and everything else, sometimes a couple people get profiled a little bit more because they have things that just fit what needs to be done for the time. There are so many amazing comments that people shared in their videos that I will be cutting some other things together to include some of those comments that we'll put up on our YouTube page and share them on socials so they'll be out there and available. We'll probably do that closer to the end of the season. So still a chance if anybody would like to, once you've seen some of those, still a chance to send in a video if you would like, because I know some people coming into that last game, they couldn't bring themselves to do a video. It was too hard. So I'll maybe put out a plea one more time that maybe there's a window of opportunity right here where it won't be so hard, as we know we have a playoff match and we've got a couple weeks. And if you can find the time, I'd love to get a few more voices to be able to cut and put some different things together. But I had, of what I received, more than 70 minutes of video that I had to condense down to 4, right? So, I mean, most of everybody's everything gets cut. And I would like to put some more of those together, as I said. And I don't know if we want to do it, because I don't know if I've seen. I do have it queued up and ready to go if anybody wants to see it, because I don't know if people didn't get a clean version or had a chance to see it. But if we're looking at time and stuff, and Jason's not here with us yet, so I was also looking at just a little bit of filler as we wait to see if Jason makes it for us.
This podcast is all killer and no filler. We don't do filler. I feel like this is good content, John. You made this video, and it's good content, not filler.
Right, so we're going to play it, especially if you only got the chance to see it in Stadium and didn't quite catch everything that was said. I will say that the version you're going to see is what's on our YouTube channel, and the ending is a little different than what was shown in the Stadium. We edited a couple things down and out of the in-stadium version, since people didn't have a choice whether they watched it or not. So I'll let you guys know that this video, it's going to put us on the side, and unless you mute yourselves, your mic's going to be live while the video plays. So just giving you a heads up here as the video goes. All right, let's play it.
Be loyal. We will adore the local sing forevermore.
Dear San Diego Loyal,
It has been an amazing 4-year run.
Together, we've made some incredible memories.
Charlie Adams' first goal ever.
Watch out, Adams. Adams scores.
Legend.
And Kyle in Seattle
Down. Referee sees nothing wrong with it. It's
and
Adams.
Xavi in Monterey are probably the 2 goals that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
The watch parties.
Guido's goal against Phoenix.
Guido scores.
And teaching us all how to dance. Well, at least he taught me how to dance.
Marching in the Pride Parade and watching the crowd dance to our awesome drum line.
San Diego Loyal Soccer Club.
Being obnoxiously loud in Orange County.
And the appreciation the players show to traveling supporters.
We've given growlers of beer.
Watching the players climb the advertising screens after every single game to greet kids, sign autographs, take pictures, and most importantly, make rad memories.
I personally have raised a family around this club, and those memories will never fade. As a dad, for me, what they did for my kids, it's hard to put a value on.
Family, community feel of the club has really brought tears to my eyes, because I'm going to hold those memories for the rest of my life.
To see my kids that happy, it's hard to put a value on that.
And best of all, creating friendships with players, team staff, and fellow supporters. Friendships that I know will continue well after this season. And for all those memories,
All the memories still to come.
We say thank you.
Thank you for helping to bring people together.
Thank you for listening and doing this with us and not for us.
thank you for incredible team kits and awesome merchandise I'll be wearing well into the future, including this.
Thank you to all the staff and the players for bringing so much joy and excitement into our lives by doing what you love for a living.
Thank you to everyone who made this a class organization.
Thank you to everyone inside and outside the club that chose to stand up and make sure this club is remembered for making an impact on and off the field.
Know that you helped create a legacy, not only as a team, but as a community. And thank you for having the courage to do what's right, even if it meant losing a game.
Finally, from all of us here at the Locals,
we want to thank everyone who took this journey with us.
Chavos de Loyal,
The Rainbow Loyals,
The San Diego Fiends,
And all the loyal fans that packed Torero Stadium for the past 4 years.
thank you for helping us to create the best atmosphere in the league.
It has been an honor to stand and sing with each and every one of you in support of this club.
and I've had the most fun celebrating with all of you.
Wait,
Hold up. Wait a minute.
We are not done yet.
we're not done. We're not going quietly into the night.
We still have work to do.
We've got a championship to win.
We have a cup to bring home, baby.
this is what it's all about.
This is your shot at greatness, gents.
So let's kick some USL ass and go get it.
And celebrate one last time.
With one final
San Diego.
We are.
Bury us with the cup.
Oh, let's win the whole fucking thing.
Oh, that's very good. That's cool. I like the end part. Now, Kevin, I do know that he owns a microphone. I don't know why he chose not to use it in his video, but he definitely owns one. So I'm sorry, I have notes.
Okay. I would. That video was perfect filler for us because we do have the the person who did the closing segment of the video there. A part that didn't actually air in the stadium. Jason,
the reason
thank
you
for
can't
joining us.
The reason you can't show it to your family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now joining the podcast, Jason Ratcliffe. The I don't remember your title. You are the
something of something. I'm just
He
one
is
of the people.
one of the
Director of Communications.
He is the director of communications for the Locals. But he is also joining us to share some information about the Vegas away trip that is only 4 days away.
Yeah, it's all here. That last game kind of snuck up on us, and the Vegas trip is here now. So if it snuck up on you, the information there is it's time to buy your tickets. That is a Fomo.com link that is in. I think we've shared it everywhere. If you haven't seen it, you need to contact someone to talk to them about it. They said that the link might not expire, but they might begin selling the section to the general public, to which I said, we have no problem fighting whoever happens to be in that section in Vegas. So yeah, go ahead and try that. I saw one highlight of Vegas last week, and looked like they were still had some COVID restrictions. Everyone in the stadium, all 42 people, were about a section and a half apart from each other. So it's good that they're taking precautions, and they only let about 100 fans in. It looked like so that's
bringing
good.
back the social distancing.
Social
Two
distancing.
words I haven't heard together in about 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, a social distanced crowd there on last Saturday. So I don't think they're going to be eager to sell out our section specifically, but they can talk to those ticket reps if they do. But yeah, that's the Fomo link. So there has been a little bit of confusion about this that I wanted to try and clear up, because sometimes when you create something, what it's supposed to look like and what you intended, and other people get kind of confused by it. So that may be what's happening. A couple months ago, or a month ago, whatever, when I set this up, we were doing kind of like an interest thing. So that's why I used the Eventbrite to not charge anybody anything, to not set anything up on our website, to not commit anyone to anything. That's just kind of an interest thing for the game tickets. You need to buy your tickets to watch the game of soccer being played between Loyal and Lights in Summerlin. You need to buy that from Lights. Just like any other time you buy a game ticket, you buy it there. They've given us our own link. That is the FIVO link. Okay, so going into our Eventbrite and signing up that you want to go to the game does not give you a ticket. So if you did that, we appreciate that, and thank you for letting us know that you plan on coming, but you need to buy the actual ticket. I think most of you have done that. Some may not have. So the FIVO link is out there. It's in Discord. We've tweeted it. If you need it, if you're hearing this and don't know what I'm talking about, it's just the private link that Lights uses for away supporters. So buy it there. The other thing, as part of the original Eventbrite, is the shuttle bus. I guess it's a supporters bus, shuttle bus from what will be the downtown Grand, where we are staying. There are going to be two buses. I mean, it's going to be one shuttle, but two buses because there's so many of us. So we will be picked up from the hotel, driven out because Summerlin's like a 30-minute ride away. So we didn't want everybody spending $100 each way on Ubers and whatnot. So graciously, the club provided that for us free of charge to us. So thank you to Andrew and Travis and Ricardo and Weston, everyone who was part of saying, yeah, we should hook that up. Thank you for hooking us up. To avoid further confusion, which I thought I was doing, that Eventbrite, those tickets for the shuttle bus are what we're going to be using as the passenger list for that. We didn't want to set up another thing like in our shop website like we've done previously for other buses and make everyone go back there and then again have the situation of, I thought I signed up for the bus. So if you have signed up for the bus on the Eventbrite, that is the final one. Okay, so game tickets need to come from the team, need to come from Lights, but the bus tickets, we are going to be using that for the Eventbrite. So I believe you should have an email from Eventbrite when you signed up that says, hey, you have your tickets to, I forget what it's called. I think it's like game ticket and bus and shuttle bus pass, locals, something like that. Should be in your email. If it's not, let me know. But we are going to be using that for head counts and making sure that everyone's there. And we are saving you a seat. So if you signed up on that, we are expecting you to be there. If something changed or if you want to drive or whatever, Chappie, to answer your question, go to your email that you use for Eventbrite and see, or just go to that email and search locals, bus, shuttle. Something should come up and you should have it. I could probably, I don't know, John probably doesn't have it, but I was going to say I could forward it to John so you can see what it looks like. But you will have gotten a confirmation from Eventbrite because that's just kind of what they do. So, yeah, Jeff, the other thing you can do is use your loyal ticket. If you're a season ticket member and haven't used your free one yet, you can use that as well. So if you don't want, if you haven't done that, look into that. Those are the two ways to do it. I'm just saying that for the game, the Eventbrite thing is just an interesting. It doesn't get you into anything. Technically, it doesn't get you into our bus, but it's free, so it does get you into our bus. So yeah. So make sure if you've, the team has a lot of stuff going on, Jeff. So I might, if I haven't heard back from them, just send them another thing there. I think we were at 65 people as of yesterday, which seems a little bit light, honestly, based off of, there you go. Weston says, if you're going, use your STM. If you're going to use your
it's
STM.
probably because not everybody that is going is doing the locals version of the trip.
Right. So the 65 of us makes sense. And then I do know there are people like Jeff who are on the bus but haven't bought a ticket. I think Nick also is using his. So I know that there's probably 10 to 12 people, and we're guessing the bus is around 80 to 85 right now. And then there may be some people who didn't buy with us and want to sit closer to home plate. That's fine. There you go. Weston's providing some stuff in the chat there. So make sure you're on the list with the club. It looks like they'll be buying them soon in the same section. So just get your requests in, everybody, as soon as you can if you're using the season ticket member away ticket perk.
Can I just? I'm going to interrupt you real quick, Jason, just to say, what an incredible away trip you and everybody has organized. I went to Vegas a couple of years ago. It was not this. We've done Phoenix. It was not this. We've obviously done Orange County, which is similar, but I don't think nearly as involved as this. I am probably having the worst FOMO of my life. In fact, I've never used that term. I've never enjoyed it. It makes me cringe. But literally, I cannot go, and it's killing me hearing you talk about this hotel right there on Fremont. The party bus to the game just sounds like such an incredible experience, and I'm very jealous of everybody who is on that list because I'm not with you. And thanks to everybody who and thank you, Weston, and the club for helping make it happen, because I think this is going to be just an away trip to remember.
Even more reason not to have children, apparently,
And just for all of us who are experiencing this FOMO, who are not going, because I am one of those as well, there is still a watch party at AleSmith. So I just wanted to remind people that, you can still get together with people and watch the match at AleSmith.
It's going to be too painful, man. It's going to be so painful.
We'll provide the soundtrack. You'll hear us there. It'll be like, hopefully they'll have the sound on. You can turn it all the way up.
I'm going to be driving back from Thousand Oaks. Literally have to drive all the way to Thousand Oaks for one youth soccer game and then turn around and drive home instead of doing this incredible Vegas away trip.
Well, hopefully we don't have another one and we get all the playoff games at home at Torero. But if we do have a road trip, that's going to be...
Oh my gosh. Is Phoenix making the playoffs? Is Phoenix in the playoffs?
They are, but they're going to be below us. So
okay,
we won't have to go there.
The only possible playoff trips for us, Sacramento, San Antonio, potentially.
And OC.
OC if they hop us. So yeah, need all that energy in Vegas to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. So that's really all I had to say. The other thing was we are planning in the Discord. That's kind of been popping off. We made our own little thing so that the FOMO wasn't too hard for Andrew. There's a channel in there that we can invite you to. I think we 3 or 4 people today asked to be invited because they either just got tickets, just decided they're going, or just realized that it was there. So we are planning in there. There's cool stuff happening that I don't want to burden Andrew and John with. But also part of that is that I am done planning this.
I almost want to just be in the channel just to pretend
so you can feel it.
Yeah, ooh, everybody's heading to Tommy Roma's or whatever now. Ooh, everybody's meeting here.
I don't know if there's a live view of the zip line. So maybe if you saw that we were all getting in line for the zip line, you could watch whomever is taking that dive. But we are not planning anything post game didn't come together. So
spring for the higher one, the longer one. There's 2 zip lines. One goes the entire length of Fremont Street, and the other one is just half. Do the long one. It's higher. It's better.
This is a go big weekend. This is a go big weekend. This is all in. We're gonna have. You know what people do when they come here and they give us all the Anchorman puns? We're doing all the gambling puns, all the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas puns, all of the Killers puns. I don't know what else is Las Vegas. All the Godfather puns. So all the casino puns. Yeah.
You don't talk to a man like Mo Green like that.
That's right. Yeah. You don't talk to a man like Coque Vegas like that. That's right. So we have more cool art coming out, and some other cool stuff that you have to be there for.
All right, can I be a nerd and put my science teacher hat on for a second?
Yes.
All right. Do you guys know there's an eclipse on Saturday? And in Las Vegas, you're about 3 hours away from where you can see the full eclipse.
I will be in no. You're saying we should reroute the buses, get everybody
Saturday
on the
morning.
bus, and head out. Oh, okay. Saturday morning. For those of you going out early,
it'll be about 10 in the morning, I think.
All right. For those of you going out there early, if the sun isn't shining as brightly at the pools while you're laying out, maybe it's because it's behind a moon.
Yeah. You'll have to.
All right.
You'll have to scoot over to Utah to see it, probably. But
thanks, Jason,
anyway,
for the
sorry, had to get
Vegas
that nerdy
update.
thing out.
Yeah, the eclipse, even if it's not in the direct path, I believe it's going to be a pretty decent view from San Diego. We're going to definitely get some eclipsing, just not the full solar halo. So don't be like former President Trump looking at the thing with your naked eye.
Sun. Hold on, let me take notes. Don't look directly into sun.
Probably the greatest moment of his presidency. I know we do have to get to another thing before we sign off for the night. I want to thank everybody for participating in the chat. It's great to see so many people in here, and we really appreciate as we're talking about the broadcasters winding down and reminiscing a bit, similar for the Loyal Locals podcast. We don't know what shape or form this podcast will take in the future, but it's almost the end of the line for this iteration of it as well. So it's really great to see everyone in the chat, and it's appreciated. So thank you everybody for participating. John, what is the last thing we've got to talk about on this week's episode?
Well, the last thing, and I will pull it up this way because we didn't really give it any attention when we. Oops, sorry. Let's try that again. There we go. Is Koke Vegas getting Player of the Year? We kind of skipped over that when we were talking about the game. And want to give a shout out to everyone who voted this year for Player of the Year, and Koke Vegas won. If you didn't get a chance to see that and weren't down on the field. And if you've seen some of the pictures, which can give me a chance to switch here, it was a bit emotional for Koke as well as probably a lot of people who were down there on the field. But he's had a fantastic year. I hope it continues. And I know he also put this message out, which I will read here in just a second in case the font is a little small, depending on which size screen you're looking at. He said, "Thank you very much for your unconditional support to our beloved club during these 4 seasons, and to me personally the last 2 seasons. It is an honor to receive this recognition and to be part of this family. I will never forget that here in San Diego, I was happy. Thank you, always loyal."
Everything he does, man. Everything he does. Yeah. I mean, not that to say that I called it, but like this was like the biggest no-brainer in the whole world. I mean, obviously we love all of the players, but I think Koke Vegas in his 2 years here just has really become the fan favorite. I'll never forget when they were down in that Louisville match, like 4-0, 5-0. And the players started taunting 109, how Koke got right in his face. And ever since then, it's like, we've had his back and he, we know he has ours. So it's great to see him get that this year. I did lie earlier. There is one other thing that we have to talk about, and maybe not talk about, but get the information out there. The club has invited people to training on Thursday. If you are off of work or you work forgiving schedule, if you want to call in sick, you can go and check out training at the Chula Vista Elite Athlete Training Center. It's no longer Olympic in nature, but it is elite. and the club is going to let you come hang out, watch training if you haven't done that before. It is fun. People bring little ice boxes with a couple beverages and can sit and hang out, and it's a good opportunity to chat with players. Sometimes they do come and hang out. I know Ken has been autograph seeking. I wanted to ask you, Ken, because I've got these cards that the club gave out, and I'd wanted to get them signed by players, but I found myself, when I had my cards and I had my Sharpie, I found myself like in the weird position of needing to like elbow out kids in order to like get to a player, and I couldn't bring myself to do it. How do you, as a grown man, approach other grown men for their autographs?
So
Because I
here's
know
how
you've
you do it.
gotten a lot of them.
So here's how you do it. You try to stand next to like the cutest looking kid, and when that kid gets his autograph or her autograph, then you go ahead and you go, "Can I get one more?" And then you're good. But you
Okay.
never reach over or never go like, "Oh yeah." You basically allow them to get the first or second or third autograph, and you look for like the gap in the line where if they're already signing 3, they'll more than likely sign 4.
All right. I'm gonna work on that. All right. Well, I think that's everything for this week. Vegas away. Jason, I believe, is available for any lingering questions. I think he explained everything very succinctly. And we will be back next week to talk about, I think we'll know who our playoff opponent is, and we will talk about what is going to happen next Sunday at our home playoff game. So thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Right. Good night.